Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to the AfterCon podcast. Kayla and Jacob here tonight talking to you about what, Jake?
We're talking technically about two different conventions that there's been a lot of changes out here in the state of Minnesota. So we've gone to one in years past that was called Wizard World. Again, some of these conventions,
Solid title, solid naming convention.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but they actually rebranded to Fan Expo, which we've been to as well. And we didn't actually know this until very recently, 7 minutes ago, that Wizard World rebranded to Fan Expo. And honestly, I'm sure that was great for business. And thinking about it now, outside of like, I knew Wizard World did some touring, but under the brand of Fan Expo, not sure if somebody bought it out or I'm just aware that it was a rebranding, but
And to
it's
be fair, I
really
mean,
taken off,
so has like a much broader, I feel like
right?
they get a much broader client base is wrong.
Audience and clientele, like, yeah,
You know, you
with
see
the
a name
name,
like Wizard World and it'll throw some people off,
it
especially,
will.
you know.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, it makes sense for business. Going to Wizard World was kind of a pill to swallow. Um,
And we did
and
it.
so so when they got rid of that back in 2021, they didn't get rid of it, but they stopped coming to Minnesota, and so somebody started up uh, Twin Cities, as we call the St. Paul, Minneapolis area of Minnesota, the Twin Cities. Somebody started up their own convention, which is very popular, called Twin Cities Con.
And it's basically like the same as the
It is.
Wizard World that we went to. We've gone to this convention, what, about 3 times down there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We get some decent hitters in the Minnesota area.
Yeah. This being one of your I would call this a mid-sized convention.
Yeah.
And so you're still getting the with this, you're getting the very decently large what would be mid-size as I called it a second ago, but of the sales market. So there's still plenty of shops and people who are coming to sell their homemade products, custom products, trades, all those little vendor shops. There's still quite a few of interesting things being sold. And from a from a the okay, what's the perspective of like the photos and autographs and the celebrities that you would kind of what's that experience?
Well, and that's kind of what I like to do while we go there. So, it's sometimes it's hit or miss because like I said, we've gotten some good names there. But the last time we went there was after COVID, so they had the barrier. Remember when the Lord of the Rings cast was there? So again, do you remember
Were
that?
they at that was that Twin Cities Con?
Yep, the last one we went to. It was not the full cast, but Elijah and Sean Austin were there.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's right. I forgot because we did that and then we met them all
We met them
later.
all at a fan expo out in Denver.
That's right. Oh, yes, that's right. When we met them this time, we were still dealing with the plastic screens.
We're still dealing with the plastic screen, and I really don't care for the autographs and stuff like that. That's more your thing, but yeah,
You just like to touch.
I
Yeah,
like to touch, and I like to
right.
have photo evidence of the touch.
Right. Yeah, you do. I think we've mentioned this before, uh, but the plastic screens that I referenced, I think it's becoming less frequent, but from COVID, every photo session with you and a celebrity, there was a plastic screen down the middle because somehow the air around that you can't get germs from.
It makes no
But
sense because then you see these celebrities not using a barrier and going about their normal breathing on
then,
life.
right, yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just used as an excuse. Like,
We've been told from like reaching out to conventions that it's a per celebrity basis, but then I've also seen from looking at other things that it is the conventions thing. And I think it just was such a mess that a lot of people just made it mandatory and nobody wanted to be blamed. But it does seem like that's come down because at least the last convention we went to, plastic barriers were not a problem.
no, no. And besides the
Last
autograph,
couple.
yeah, besides the autograph or the photo op stuff, like you were mentioning earlier, these Wizard World slash Twin Cities conventions do bring in a lot of those vendors with the handmade stuff and the fan made stuff, and I feel like it's a lot of the same people every single time.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, it is. There's new products and
sure,
stuff that you see from time to time, but there are definitely a lot of like repeat. Like you can see like this artwork or like this glassware or these
posters.
like these custom coasters. Uh, these are fantastic Lord of the Rings coasters. And by the way, all that stuff is really cool, and it's like you'll never see it anywhere else. Or
Very
maybe
cool.
it's like you
Very
could go
unique.
buy, right? A lot of these people have websites, but they're interesting things that you oftentimes wouldn't think to go search for the internet in your spare time. Like they're just not. And some really cool stuff. Some stuff that I'll never buy and I'll see every time that we go, but um, you know, it's again, those places are just fun to walk through.
They are.
Um, and but with the celebrity side of things, you're getting at this type of convention in Twin Cities, you're getting a lot of those B to C list celebrities. Maybe they'll,
How that to
have
evolve.
it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I guess. And to be fair, I would say that those are A list celebrities, but I think when we saw them at that point in time, I mean, they're not starring in major roles. I think they both occasionally have guest stars in like Yellow Jackets, or Sean Astin was in the season 2 or 3 of Stranger Things. So there's definitely, their limelight has gone down.
Fair.
But I mean, they're loved and adored by all. So yeah, are they going to attract a crowd?
Yeah.
110%.
Well, yeah, because their fan base are nerds.
Right.
I would really like to see Elijah Wood's sweater collection. He donned
He's a big
some
sweater
pretty
guy.
nice button-up
We've
sweaters.
actually now seen him in images, of the same sweater multiple times. Um, and Yeah, so like with those types of celebrities, the experience that you get though is you're getting you're getting that extra time. I think
Yeah,
that's the reason to go make that for us. What's a fairly quick trip is whether you love it or you hate it, you're getting some small talk when you're getting your photo and your autograph. Like you're gonna find somebody who you can just have a good time with and
yeah.
talk very
And
briefly. But
that's that one girl from FBI, and she's also on The Boys, the wife of Butcher, Chantal
oh, I forgot that was the.
Van Satin. Her name
Didn't
escapes.
she tell you about her on-screen pregnancy or something like that?
I asked her about it, and she was one of those that was very nice, and I could have a small conversation with because there wasn't a huge line behind me. And so
Hmm.
I brought up the pregnancy on the show, and so she was very nice and answered some little questions. But
To be fair, she was asking about the pregnancy on the show FBI, not the pregnancy on the show The Boys. That was a
it's
tragedy.
like a couple different pregnant people.
Different pregnant people, right?
Yeah,
Um,
women. But yeah,
you're
um,
one of them.
I know. So, anyways, but other than that, I think the was it the first time that we did Wizard World back in the day is when we saw Spike, what is it, James Marsters? That's when I was pregnant with Dean, and he guessed my months of pregnancy.
Oh yeah, James Marsters. Yeah, well, and
Remember
he
that?
guessed. That's right. Yep,
Yeah,
he guessed very accurately. Right? You're how pregnant you were.
like roughly 7 or 8, somewhere in there.
Can't even really be offended by that. It's like if he lost his job, like he could go work at a
So true.
fair.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
pretty
And then
talented stuff
I
there.
think the second
Yeah,
time
like
there was more of the cast, right? There was Cordelia,
yeah, Cordelia and I
Xander.
think Xander was maybe no, I don't.
Oh, do I have the picture up? No, might not.
So
I don't know.
really got to keep those on hand. I should really pull a lot of them out because I think that they would be great to kind of show guests what those photos look like. The only problem I have with showing you guys what that looks like, me in photo with celebrity, is I feel really good going into a convention and I think, man, I look my best. And then I get back and I think to myself, no, did I? Did I?
I
You
think
know,
you look really decent in
I
those
think
photos.
I do. I think the issue is that when you're taking your photo next to somebody who does look really good, it
Right.
really makes you look like crap, you know? So
And to be fair, we always indulge on those vacations.
we do.
Jacob
We
and I
do.
like to try out all the Mexican restaurants we can find.
Right.
So, salt. We'll
That we
make it
do.
work.
That we do. Yeah,
But
we do
anyways,
kind of do it to ourselves,
um,
quite
and then
frankly.
that same
Um,
year, that
yeah,
was
I would highly recommend the Twin Cities Convention um, to anybody that lives locally in the area. It is not one that I would ever recommend anybody to fly to unless you happen to look and there is a celebrity there that you really want to see, that you can look online and see that there's not planning to go to anything in the future, because I would say a lot of those people that go to that convention, uh, nobody locally lives in Minnesota. They don't. Nick Swardson's the only actor that comes top of mind, and he's a comedian. He's not going to be there.
there is a cast
Um,
from the
but I think
Vanderpump
for anybody
Rules
that
that
lives
lives in Minnesota,
within,
but I don't think he'd be one attending these.
no, but yeah, anybody that I would say lives within 8 hours should make that drive. Like that drive is worth 8 hours,
So
in my
remember
humble
at that
opinion.
one of the times we went there, was it Drax? I don't remember their real names.
Yep, it
Drax.
was. Dave Batista was there, and that's when I realized that he's
Right.
kind of like a weird hipster in real life. A lot
Mm.
of rings and jewelry.
A lot of
Uh,
earrings, tattoos.
Not what I expected. And
He
then
gives
who?
me Aquaman vibes, minus the hair. What's his name?
Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, in real life. But he
Yeah.
doesn't look the type.
Well, no.
In real life, he does, but like when you see him on screen, him and Jason Momoa seem like very different people. And there was somebody else there with him who,
The
it's gonna bug me.
Karen Gillan,
Karen Gillan. Yep. Yep, that's right. She was there. Very tiny. Man, that's the thing
super
with
tall,
celebrities is
super tall.
super tall. Yeah, like seeing these people in person is there's a little bit of like, I don't know, sticker shock. Like there's a lot of,
There's always sticker shock. Is
it's
that
like you see them and you're like, whoa, you can spin that. You can spin that to make that work. But like you see them in person and you're like, whoa, this is not what I expected.
right?
See?
Right.
See? Sticker shock. Um, yeah, it works. But yes, just a local time. I think it's fair that like if you could realistically do it in a single day. I don't even know that there's a need to stay for more than one day
I mean,
unless
sometimes
there's
they have those like
scheduling.
well, yeah, and they have those like costume parties,
They
or
do the costume contests
and things like that.
and panels. They do have, that's true. That's a great way to
We
to
skip
you
that
know.
stuff for the most part, and so some
Yep,
of our viewers, I'm sure, would go to those.
true. So yeah, there's it has a lot of your main your core themes that you would find at most conventions. So
Right.
yeah,
So again, if you're local, definitely hit it up. I wouldn't go
it's
out of your way to fly and buy hotel and all that jazz, but
no 100% worth like leaving early morning, heading out. If you want, like again, if there is a little thing that you see on the schedule that you need to be there an extra day for, find a cheap hotel. But
yeah.
um, I could not imagine that there is. But tickets under $100 to go and just see the people, out on the floor signing autographs and stuff, and you can buy kind of like ad hoc, like when you're there. I think it's pretty comfortable typically to be like, you don't need to get stuff in advance. You can go tickets in advance if you want to do multi-day. Single day, you're probably fine showing up day of. Only thing I will say is there is typically a long line.
Yeah. For the photograph stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, anywho, I think that's kind of everything that there is really to talk about from the Twin Cities Con side of things.
Yeah. And this is a shorter episode, but it's a shorter convention. So
It's exactly, and we do try and get to the really small conventions, these medium-sized ones. This is more of, again, this is a local adjacent one-off convention. Um, And
Goes
so
on
that,
every November, first weekend
yep,
usually.
yep, is always somehow an obstacle for us, but we'll probably continue to go to this one every year. It's a fun time.
Fun little thing to do. Yeah,
Hmm. So,
definitely. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening today. As always,
yeah,
check us out on Instagram, DM us for any questions.
we do have a very riveting topic to talk to you about next week.
So
So,
stay tuned.
all right, bye everybody.